Hi everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Dare to be Fearless. Now, I know I don't do this podcast nearly as often as I used to, or even when I was at Disney, but unfortunately it's just running two different companies that makes this literally impossible. That being said, what I do love about still having access to this show and all of the episodes that are out there is I feel like it's still a place where I can really sit down and have longer conversations, discuss anything that's been going on. And that's what I wanted to use this time today for. If you are interested in other episodes of Dare to be Fearless, you can get them on YouTube. You can get them on Spotify just by typing in Dare to be Fearless. Most of the episodes have to do with entrepreneurship or business, which is really my strong suit, what I love to talk about. But now I have the love list going on. Now I wanted to talk, of course, about the love list. So I started this dating platform in Connecticut, actually. I would say like over the summer. I can't even remember when the first Love List event was, but the Love List actually stemmed out of this dating group I had started, not dating, girls group. I had started in Connecticut called the Connecticut Girls Group. Now, my parents, I'm originally from Mansfield, but I moved out and went to New York when I was 16. I did the whole starving artist thing. I went from New York to Boston to LA, which is when I landed Fearless Every Day on Radio Disney. And the Disney show is really, I would say, what set my career kind of off. So it's so funny for me to be back so often in Connecticut because in a way, I did everything I could in my life to get out of this state. And now I actually have a lot of like pride being here. And I think it's really amazing, this community. But the Love List started from this girls group I had started, really from TikTok. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I never like to call myself an influencer. I much prefer to say I'm an entrepreneur. I build businesses. I build real businesses that are not based on social media, like my main business, which is called Chief Swag Officer, which is an e-commerce business. It is very different to build a business that's like a fully fledged e-commerce business or CBG business, whatever it is that you're doing, in comparison to building an Instagram or a TikTok following. Obviously, both take immense amounts of work, but when you're talking about something like e-commerce, when you're talking about something like food or beverage or clothing, you've got distributors, you've got suppliers, you've got manufacturers, you've got staff. It takes way less work, I'm not going to lie, to show up on the internet every single day. Of course, it does take work, but just the type of business you're building when it comes to just like you showing up as you is very different than the things I have been recently even going through, running two businesses simultaneously. People's payroll, their livelihoods, human-to-human interaction, all these things which are wild to me because I've never built companies almost at this scale. But essentially that Connecticut Girls Group transpired into these videos that I would post where I would go up to guys and be like, are you single? And then a lot of girls who were in this group, I would give them, I would say like 90% of the stuff was free Pilates classes or events. And hey, sorry to interrupt you guys. Are you guys single?
No.
Oh, you're not single? Okay. I've got some like girls who are looking to meet guys in Connecticut and you guys looked like a vibe. Do you have any do you have any single friends? You go to the edge. You have one single buddy.
One single buddy.
And Bob.
Oh, Big Bob. Yeah, Big Bob. Big Bob.
Is he big? Why is his name Big Bob?
6'4".
All right. Well, what's he do?
Works at Aetna.
Okay. How old is he?
Nothing good. He's 31.
What type of car does he drive?
Tesla.
Fuck. Okay. No, I'm not even kidding. Does he have like an Instagram or something?
Yeah, I think it's blip14.
How do you remember that?
He's like one of my good buddies.
Wow,
Yeah.
Bob. blip14. Lip with one P or two P's? All right, thanks, guys. If I tell him this random chick may message him to set him up with some other girls.
Okay.
All right, rock on. Thanks, guys. It started to be really special to me to like give back to this. The biggest thing being because I never had this when I was growing up. And to be honest, if I had had that kind of group when I was growing up, like I don't think I would have spent my whole childhood trying to escape Connecticut. But to me, there was nothing here. There was no resources. There was no fun. There was no friends. It was fucking hard growing up in this state when there's like nobody there for you in a way, aside from the people you go to school with. But then half those people leave, half those people stay. XYZ. So I ended up hosting the first Love List event, I think in September, either maybe August or September in Old Saybrook. It was so amazing. I mean, it was probably one of the best things that's ever happened in my career. The people that I met from it, many of them who I still talk to, it was just phenomenal. And since that, whatever that was, August or September event, I think we've had like 5 or 7 more events all throughout Connecticut now. And all of the events have been predominantly like the 27 to 40s range. We did do some focus on the 40 to 65 range, but I really like to tell you about what it's like building this company because number one, I feel so in tune with these people in Connecticut. When you guys come up to me, when you DM me, like I literally feel like so wanting to make you happy. And so it's really important for me that I walk you through, I think, the things that are going on behind the scenes with doing this. I've never run any kind of company like this. I now have a team of so we have like an event staff of like 4 to 7 people that staff the events. I have someone full-time on operations, someone full-time on copywriting who basically handles the newsletter, someone full-time on social media. And so you're looking at like a fully fledged company, right? Which is wild because in the space of less than a year, I have built a fully fledged dating platform. That is not an app yet. I don't know if we'll go to an app version, but some things we have realized or that I've noticed that I think could be really helpful for those of you looking to find love would be, so the 40 to 65 demographic has been challenging for us at the Love List to crack. I'm not going to lie. I think the main thing with that age group that we've realized, and we're running focus groups now, we have surveys being sent out. So when I tell you our entire mission is to make this process easier for you, that is our entire mission. And I paused for a second to think of what to say next because I wanted to say, you know, in comparison to Hinge and Bumble and Tinder, the way that a lot of those platforms are set up is for hooking up, is for business, is for money. I think at this point in the stage this company is in that we are still so involved. We are heavily involved with the matches. We are heavily involved with the vetting with the men. Of course, we miss things here and there, unfortunately. Everything is a learning step. Even something happened this morning, and I, as the founder, you know, take a massive amount of pride and responsibility in when things go wrong. When I was dealing with this personal situation the past few weeks, I missed one thing that really upset me, and I reached out to her directly. That's just going to happen. But we are so heavily involved in making sure that like nothing goes overlooked. When something goes wrong, we immediately have a new policy. Like there was a situation that did happen over the weekend that I was notified about this morning. And I'm really honored because I also feel like the love listers in this community transparently reach out to us. They tell us when something happens. It wasn't anything terrible, but I was really glad this woman did reach out to us. It pains me as the founder that this could happen. And it was something really simple. But now we look at this and okay, like since 8 a.m. this morning, I received this email from someone on my team. By noon, we had not only blacklisted this person, we had a totally new terms and conditions put on the website on all of our materials for the love list. And we kind of had like a team huddle in our Slack and our group text of like, okay, this just happened. This will never happen again. And these are the steps to do it. When I tell you, I feel like I am a very good fit for this role as the founder of this type of company, it is because I am a no bullshit person. In my business and my personal life, there is no room when it comes to dating people's love lives and their relationships to fuck around. I think the people who are a part of this community and admire it and want to see it grow is because they're so fucking sick of the bullshit. And I understand it. I get it. So what I would say that we've learned, you know, about the 40 to 65 community is as much as you guys want a lot of events, and I love that, but the events thing is really hard because essentially people have lives, right? When you're looking at the 40 to 65 plus crowd, which I admire, you know, people who are divorced, who have kids, etc., they want to find love, and I think that's amazing. The problem is you guys have a lot more commitments. You have kids. You have people you're co-parenting with. You have after school games. And so the events part for me, cracking that age group to be able to give you more events, and we get so many DMs predominantly from women in that age group, like we really want more events. I get it, but the problem is if you want an event and we don't have 20 available men on this date who can 100% commit because of the fact they've got these commitments that matter way more than a dating event, we can't serve you. And so if you're watching this and you're like interested in it, we love all of your feedback. You know, when you fill out the forms and whatnot, it really, truly does help us. So we really have decided with the 40 to 65 crowd to do the one-on-one matchmaking. This week in particular, the Loveless Members Portal launch. So basically how our new matchmaking service works is that you pay $50 and that $50 is applied to a credit for one of your matchmaking services. We do the first plan, which is $350, obviously minus the $50 for your onboarding call, which is one, date. Then we have a plan that's $750, that's for like 3, and then we have one that's $1,500. And so in the realm of comparison to other matchmaking services, etc., what you get from this, we are way more involved. Beth, who is the resident matchmaker, and I bet a lot of you who have done these packages, have spoken to Beth. We have it set up that essentially you buy that onboarding $50 and then you're required to have a call with someone on our team. We do not allow you to just buy packages because we do not allow people on this platform who we do not think we can adequately match. And so though that $50 fee is non-refundable, our hope is that following that call, we really get a good sense of who you are so that we can matchmake you. So that's the biggest thing with that portal. So if you're interested in matchmaking, not event, you get access to that. Again, it's been a bit challenging because this is only on a website right now. We are not making this an app at this point, probably until maybe mid next year, because the biggest thing is that we don't know necessarily right now what the difference from an app and a website would be because there's no swiping. We're not allowing you to do any swiping. We don't allow you to see other people's profiles. We have had people that we set up on dates and they get a small profile prior to their date, but that is the extent of what that happens. So if you've also gone through the matchmaking process, in the business of people, right, we've had a lot of people who go on a great date, but it's just not a fit, or they, something happens in this YZ and they do come back to us and they do trust us. And the cost of these packages in the realm of actually what my team gets paid, that $350 fee, right? That includes the $50 onboarding for that one date. I would say per person, my team spends 5 to 10 hours on finding that match. Like when I'm telling you we do not fuck around, this business is obviously, and I'm in the business of making money, but I'm also so aware that to build this company and do it and scale it right, I have to be extremely meticulous with the way that I allow connections to be made and people to be connected. And that's why I'm okay with these packages. Essentially, we're losing money right now to help you find love because the research part of it is way more important to me, and making sure that more people are happy and refer their friends to us matters way more. At some point, of course, those packages would need to be increased because, as I just said, that $350, I understand it seems like a lot, but in the amount of time, right, a very qualified person is spending 5 or 10 hours. She's getting literally paid essentially $10 an hour. So it doesn't add up right now, and I'm okay with that. It's a startup. Your feedback, your opinions matter so much, and that's really all I care about. So that's how the matchmaking works. If you want to get on the portal, you can certainly do that by getting a package. And then we have the events. I've done some videos that have gone extremely viral in Boston. And I used to live in Boston. I feel like I understand that market. But I think the events, unfortunately, really do need to be focused on the late 20s to 40s solely because of the commitments. So if you're in New England and you want one-on-one matchmaking, you're in your 60s, your 70s, we have amazing, amazing people. I've been able to meet a lot of them actually at early on events. It's just harder to do those events for you because we don't want to make you frustrated or dissatisfied, especially when people have to cancel last minute because of things that matter more, like their kids, like the co-parenting, etc., whatever it is. Hopefully at some point I would like to be able to roll out more events, but I think in that age range, they'd probably have to be really smaller groups. I really have enjoyed doing 20 to 30 people. But I just can't risk for my own brand and my own company and all these things that we have events where there's 10 men and 30 women. That's not the point of the love list. That's not why we're here. The vetting is what sets us apart. And so that's really what it comes with that age group. So most of the events that are the 27 to 40-ish, the way that we do the vetting and we do the events and we allow that 5 to 10 year age difference is because I'm not going to lie, the amount of cougars we have in New England, older women who want younger men or younger men who want someone who's a little bit younger than them, whatever it is, we've learned a lot about that too. And so I think it's perfectly fine. I think age is truly just a number. As someone who is usually in age gap relationships, I'm extremely mature. I've never dated someone my age, to be totally transparent, and it has nothing to do with daddy issues. It 100% is I've never gone out with someone my age who I feel is on my level. That's just the reality of it. Obviously, everyone is different, but I allow 10 to 15 years because of my own personal experience. I put as much of my own personal experience in my dating, in the cities I've lived in, on the apps that I've tried into this. And so I would never make it only 4 years or 3 years. I've had every now and then predominantly females reach out and be like, oh, I don't want to go to an event where there could be someone 10 years older than me. And all we can say is that makes sense. And if we end up doing smaller age ranges, we will let you know. You're on the list, you'll get emails. But it's too complicated, right? To say we only want 26 and 27-year-olds or 27 and 28. People are people. People have preferences, people have styles, they have tastes. And so the vetting really comes from ideally that age range. And then really just locations, kind of aesthetics, what we think for that particular event. And every event is a little bit different. I would say the events are run the same, but in terms of the location, the style, everyone is a little bit different. And so the people that we choose are really based on that. We also only allow people who have fully fleshed out profiles to be on the love list. Now, earlier in the early days of the love list, there were people who came to events or had reached out and said I was surprised I was allowed into this event because I didn't have a fully fleshed out profile. We just missed that. I have to say probably the early on days of when we started this company, until someone said X, okay, now this is part of our rules. This is part of our rules. This is part of our rules. There is no company out there like the Love List. The most similar company I can think of, I guess, is maybe the League, which my dear friend Amanda started and did sell to Match. But even the League is very different. The League was an app. There is no right now matchmaking company similar to the way that the Love List is doing it, and I'm so proud of that. But what comes with that territory is needing your opinion, is needing the Love Listers involved, and authentically telling us their experiences and their stories so we can make this product even better. So that's how the events come into it. Now we've had, I would say 90% of the events have been amazing. I have personally gone to a few that were not the best. And I could even tell you why they haven't been the best. It really actually had nothing to do with the vetting. It was more just the numbers that didn't align, or the ages because X amount of people dropped out and therefore, But again, that's what you risk when you go to an event. That's why we have a very strict non-refundable policy, is because we can do the best we can, but we cannot control people and their lives. That's it. I will say there are certain themes that I've noticed with the Love List, especially with women. We have a lot of female therapists. We have a lot of women actually who don't want kids. And that is another part of when I say that vetting process is we make sure there was a match, actually a one-on-one match. I actually think this guy is awesome. And we tried to introduce them, but we gave them a heads up beforehand that the woman didn't want kids. And he, transparently replied and was so great. I would love to meet her, but that's a non-negotiable for me. So we really did try and set them up, but there are certain things like that are non-negotiables for people. She doesn't want kids. We thought they would be a perfect match, but she would rather co-parent someone else's kids or be a stepmom than have her own kids. Non-negotiable. So that is kind of the vetting things that we look at. And aside from that, I would say the men that we have been really amazing. I mean, to be honest, I would date a lot of these guys. I think they're great. I really am focused on getting more guys in Boston, more guys in Rhode Island, is expanding the New England part because I would love to be able to franchise the Love List to Rhode Island, Miami, New York. I think that's in the pipeline, but right now I have just really stuck in the pigeonhole of New England, predominantly Connecticut, because I think the word of mouth part and the success stories, 10 plus couples have come out of the Love List. Someone on my team met someone because of the Love List. Wild. I mean, another person on my team took a girl on an amazing trip. And that's fine. The business is not for hookups. I'll tell you that. But again, it is not my or my team's responsibility to judge what happens to anyone who meets or what they take away from that experience. As long as people are connecting, having face-to-face interactions, that's the biggest thing for me. So then I guess the other thing I would probably say about the Love List is initially you pay that $5 fee right now on the website. You can submit someone to this thing called the Love List. You can submit someone to the Love List, or you can submit someone else to the Wing List. Obviously, submit yourself to the Love List, someone else to the Wing List. And what that gets you, that $5 gets you access to a very fast-growing newsletter we have called the Love List, which is 2 times a month. I just hired a new copywriter because I would really like to get it to 4 times a month. But that newsletter covers access to singles. Another purchasable item for the Love List is that you can now pay to be on that. We have had incredible success wildly with the people who have been featured in that newsletter, have been featured on the social media, and been connected through someone. I would say if you really want to put yourself out there, but you're scared to go to an event, you don't want to be judged, you're not thrilled about how your body looks, do that newsletter spotlight, because the amount of people we've connected and the stakes are so low. That is a really cool addition to the Love List. Eventually, at the beginning of when I started that newsletter, we were not charging people, but now we have started charging people to be a single in that newsletter, because we've realized like this is a very valuable product. The responses, we've had men featured in that newsletter and 45 women reply wanting to be introduced to them. We have had a woman featured and 20 guys DM the Love List or reply back. And that's a really cool product. So there's also like a la carte products like that. We've got one that's a professional photo shoot. We have one where a matchmaker will take you shopping. We have one where they will do a profile rewrite. And even though you don't have necessarily profiles on the Love List, there are bios actually that behind the scenes, if you do a one-on-one match, or go on a date, you get sent. And so we do the best that we can, obviously, to write it the best of our ability. But with that profile rewrite, of course, if you upgrade to that, right, you're getting like a totally new thing that you can certainly use on a dating app if you want. We don't want you on any apps. We want you off of our list and on your own wedding registry. That's what we say. But that's really how that part goes of it. So if you have friends, if you have family, etc., that are single, I highly encourage you to submit them to the wing list. The stakes are so low, but the main difference with this company is you are getting so much attention in comparison to just being in the shit show of another company's pipeline to make money off of you. Tinder, Hinge, Bumble. We are anti that. We are building something literally for the people so that you have the best luck in this crappy dating age to find love. So that's what the Love List is. I know when you guys DM me, I try and reply to as many as possible. I can't really answer all of them, and sometimes you DM me about things, but ideally you would just email support@jointhelovelist.com. It's just the best way if you need honestly something to get in touch with someone on the team. I am not as heavily involved with the customer side of things right now as like overseeing the establishment, running the events, and obviously, being the face of this brand while trying to run my other business. And so that's really my main focus. So that's why if I don't reply to a DM or something, it has nothing to do with like me not seeing it. I really probably haven't seen it because for my own mental health, I don't really check my DM. So you just need to know that if you want to get in touch with me about anything, email is always the best way, or contacting the Love List on email or DM is way better because someone will see it. And if it needs to get to me, it will get to me. So I just say that because I want you guys to know what parts of the business I am involved with on my day-to-day so that you're aware of if even things go wrong, like it may not actually be brought to my attention until the end of the day when my team has tried to come up with a strategy to make sure it doesn't happen. And so, yeah, I love your feedback. I love your authenticity about it. I'm so proud of the people who support this. And I hope we can continue to grow this brand and make it huge because fuck these dating apps and fuck the people on them. No offense if you're watching this and you're on it. I bet you're a good person, but a lot of people on there suck. And we're trying to combat that. So that's pretty much it. That was my spiel today. That was why I came in the studio. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your kindness. This is like my first day after 2 weeks of for the first 2 weeks of my life, really being off the internet. And I'm going to go now to Westport where I'm doing a brand deal. And then I have this other thing to do and whatnot. And then try and obviously the Love List is because even if you want the bare minimum access to the Love List, get it on the newsletter. And that's it. Chief Swag Officer is always alive and running as well. I do not have any custom microphone covers on this mic, which I realized when I walked in here. I've just been busy, doing my other life things. But yeah, of course, I'll put that all in the show notes too. Chief Swag Officer, the Love List. And I love you guys. Have an amazing week.